We are back.
We're back. Hopefully we have our audio problems resolved here.
Yeah. Can you hear us? Testing 1, 2, 3.
First-time home sellers, are you guys out there? Everyone talks about the first-time home buyer. We got Tony Mitidiero here to talk to us about this new venture of the first-time home seller, the underappreciated, the cute girl in the corner that never gets told she's pretty or something. I don't know.
We need more of them too, right? That would solve a lot of things.
Yeah, no, it makes sense because you're exactly right. We always talk about the first-time home buyer. However, us as realtors, a lot of times we come to people and like, I've never done this before. I don't know how it works. We really have to do a lot more walking them through. The first-time buyer thing, I think, can actually be easier a lot of times because it's like, hey, we get you with Tony on the money, sort out the money. I'm going to protect you on the way in. Right, we're just going to help you find what you like. But the first-time seller, we've got a lot of moving parts. You have all of your stuff in a house. You have a lot of, maybe you have some equity wrapped up in it. You've got a mortgage on it. How do we get from having all of this going on into the new place? Right, we've talked about how we can do that. And in the past, we've talked about the importance of trying to be non-contingent on the sale of your house when you're making offers in this low inventory environment, right?
I mean, I'm sure I could qualify you guys all to buy a $5 million house with some form of contingency. You got to win $2 million on a scratch off.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like it just,
which is possible, just not probable.
That's the thing. Possibilities and probabilities, I think, is what we have to talk about through this, Mr. Fake Home Seller.
Oh yeah. No, I'll sell a home.
Tell us about your first time you sold a house.
Oh, well, it was part of a divorce, so that wasn't very fun.
All right.
You want to bring that up again?
No, not
Wait a minute. Poke the bear there.
All right.
Let's just go right at the heart. So you're going to pose as a seller today,
Yeah, I'm selling a
right?
house, right? So I'm a middle-aged, which is pretty much true, I would say. And, I've got a good job. I got some kids, but we're going to move up in the world. I need a bigger, nicer house. And I make what? I make 150 grand a year as a household. So the only problem is I don't have I have a little bit of debt over here. I've got some credit cards that got out of control. It wasn't my fault. My wife was spending Christmas. So what do? I want to sell the house. How do I get this thing done?
So you want to sell your house. You want to buy a bigger house.
Yes.
And we have limited liquid assets right now.
Very limited.
Okay. Well, first thing, you're at this point, right? You probably reached out to Tony. Tony's sitting down with you and going through some value things. And then now it's okay. Where do you want to buy next house, right?
Well,
what's the price point? So you want to jump up, say you want to jump up $300,000 or $400,000 in price point. So you want to maybe sell house that's worth 300 and buy in the 600 or 700 range.
And I know this. I've looked at my finances. I can't buy the new house. I have to sell this one and then buy that. So we're gonna have to be contingent. Is that okay? So
super common situation, right? That we face all the time. Where am I going to get the money? And people make the assumption of one or two things that like we'll just be able to sell their house and like somehow just transfer that equity to the new one.
That's how it works, right?
Right.
That is crazy. I hear that question at least 5 times a week. Like, can we just take this? Like, do you guys just like redo my loan and move my money over and put that loan? Like,
yeah.
And I get it. It's because no one ever educates people about this stuff.
Yeah. So historically, can you buy contingent? Like, yeah, but you're going to be betting. You're going to be making offers against people who are not. You're probably going to lose your dream house once or twice. To get something like that accepted, you're likely going to have to overpay versus a guy who's not contingent. And we're going to have to really work on timing for us to even stand a chance at that. We're going to have you basically ready to close, which means that you're not going to get your pick of it. You're going to be under the gun and a lot of pressure. You're going to have to find your house.
I don't
in like
like
a
that.
weekend.
Sounds like a lot of stress.
Right. So then we had historically, we used to have another option that was used a lot in like the 80s and 90s. And I'm surprised people qualified for it. But it was a bridge loan, which was we're going to give you a loan on your house. It'll tap into the equity, get you some cash out to be able to apply it to the next house. That sounds great, but a couple things. A lot of places don't do that, but even the ones that do, that amount is limited. And then we're going to have to carry all of this debt on your debt to income ratios and the new payment. And for a lot of people, they're not going to qualify for both.
Yeah.
Okay. So
at the timeout button real quick. I think the microphones went out again.
Did we get some comments?
We didn't get comments, but the thing's flashing red. These things suck.
We're going to get rid of these.
Pretend like we're
Hello, hello.
Hello from the
Is
other
it
side.
you I'm looking for?
No one watches this anyways to tell us that they went out. So
my dad's watching.
maybe they're not, but
He's got nothing to do.
I think they started flashing. So we'll.
He's in his woodworking shop.
That's nice.
What's he making?
I'd like
He makes a lot of bowls and he's got that spinny thing.
the lathe.
Lathe.
The
I don't know how to
Probably
say
has
it.
a couple of lathes. Small lathe, big lathe.
It does. Hello.
Dude, this is the worst, man.
Yeah. All
Our
right,
technical department.
Yeah, we gotta find a real.
production team.
All right, we're back with
We're
audio
back.
this time.
Okay, so I'm stuck. I can't.
You're stuck. The sound's off.
What do I got to do? How does this process work?
So new product it's I've been at this a number of years and I feel it's sort of revolutionary as to what it does. So go ahead.
So what we can do, Adam,
Yes.
is we can take some equity out of your house that you're selling in Homewood right now, right? That you.
Yeah, because I paid it down and I got some appreciation. I think I got like 200 grand sitting there.
Well, that sounds like a reasonable thing. So how do we access that 200,000, but also allow you to buy the next house non-contingent and shuffle that money around, right? Because we can't just go do one of those like Wayne's World, exactly, and get you a new loan and just move it all over and transfer it. So I'm talking to you, Adam, right? I'm going through everything. And I'm going, all right, let's go. All right, you got your Homewood house.
Homewood.
All right, you want to move to Homer Glen.
Dude, yeah.
You want to buy, your house worth 300. I think you said that you had about 200,000 in equity. Well, you owe 76,000. You're paying 1,400 a month on that house right
That
now,
sounds
right?
Yeah. Barely scraping.
Is all check out.
Yes.
So now you want to buy in Homer Glen, right? You want to move a little further west, buy something with land. The kids can run around, everything there. And you tell me, well, Tony, I think when it's all said and done, I'd like to have a $5,100 a month total housing expense. That's taxes, insurance, house, all of that stuff, right? Well, I have in this house in Homer Glen, the taxes are going to be 17 or 18,000, so that number checks out. But to get to that number, we need $135,000 in liquid cash.
Okay. Well, the only place I have that is my 401k at work. So do I have to go should I just go get that? What's that?
I would not recommend that.
Okay.
And here's kind of why, right? So if we want to take the 135,000 that we need to get to, right? Well, all right. If depending on your age, I forgot you said you're middle aged. So I don't know if that's 59 and a half or not.
That's up to interpretation.
But it's
I'm not 59 and a half.
All right, you're not 59 and a half. Realistically, you're gonna have to. You could maybe borrow against your 401k a little bit, but you only borrow 50 grand in most plan summaries, right? We need 135,000, Adam.
Okay. So
So
not an option.
okay, so hey, do you got some money in maybe like an IRA or some other account, maybe yielding something? Maybe. So you can liquidate that, and the 135,000 is going to put you in the 22% tax bracket from Jump Street, right?
Oh, so if I take that, it's going to change my income.
That is taxable income, my friend.
Oh, man, I did not know that.
So we flip out of that. That's going to cost you 29 grand, man. But the IRS is going away, so don't worry about it. It's going to be the external or the ERS moving forward.
Okay, so to do that, it's going to cost me $30,000. Is there a cheaper way to get this done?
There could be, but you know what else is going to cost you? I think when we were talking about earlier, you were proud that your asset there was yielding you 8.5%.
Yeah.
Well, that money is no longer yielding you 8.5% because it's out of the market. It's plowed into the down payment on the new house.
Oh, there's a word for that.
I don't know what the word
I
is.
think that's opportunity cost.
That might be it. So, right, we run through all of this, and
This guy doesn't know about opportunity cost, Mr. Seller.
yes,
get back in your lane.
Me no real money.
but I mean, Adam, like in reality, Adam, let's talk about this. So you're going to incur $29,000 plus in federal income tax. That doesn't include state income tax, right? And then your opportunity cost, maybe over 2 years, if that account was yielding you 8.5%, is going to be another $24,000. So
it's going to cost me $50,000.
It could.
Okay. Possibly 53.
Yeah, 53.
A better solution.
I do. How about we talk about this bridge loan, right?
Okay.
So what it's going to do, we'll build bridges, all right? Build it all back better. What if we did this loan where we were able to extract equity out of Homewood?
Okay.
It then allows me to exclude that from your debt to income ratio. So now when you're sitting with Tony and you guys are writing your offer on that $700,000 house in Homer Glen, you can write it non-contingent.
What's that mean?
Tony?
That means we're not showing the seller that we're bidding on their house that we have to sell your house to make this happen.
Oh, so like something else has to happen for this to happen?
Correct.
Now it's just, this is going to happen.
The nightmare domino effect. Your kids play domino rally.
Uh-huh.
It's what happens when one of them was a little out of sequence.
It's a nightmare.
Nothing else happens. So now the seller is going to know that there's not another variable in their situation, right? You could, again, a house in this case might have been overpriced a little bit, but everyone at that price point, at $700,000 price point, Homer Glen, the majority of people are going to write offers contingent. This is how we make your offer stand out. All right.
Okay.
So you write your offer there. Maybe you save $45,000 off list, something like that, something crazy.
Okay.
You know,
what's my risks?
What?
What are my risks if I do that?
So your risk is really that you just have to sell your house in Homewood for 6 months after you, within 6 months after you close on the new purchase.
Which is an amazing amount of time. You definitely should be able to do that, especially if on the front end you're using an agent, i.e. me, who gives you a correct valuation. Now, you have to know that to take advantage of this program with Tony, you are going to be working with a realtor, hopefully me. But I am going to work with this company that's providing with them. They're providing this loan on your house, all right, to free up that cash because of that requirement for you to sell. But the benefits here are unbelievable over a traditional bridge. Primarily that we're not going to have to count your existing debt against you to qualify for your new house. So that is in the mortgage world. I mean, that is ground shattering. This is new. This is something we haven't seen before.
I've never heard of this.
This is just super crazy powerful. However, the underwriters are going to want to know, all right, what is your house you're leaving really worth? All right, because they want to be sure that you're going to be able to sell that thing in 6 months. So this does not apply to everybody. And if you start to get crazy, you're blowing out what you're saying your current house in Homewood is worth, they're going to catch it. All right. So they're going to run some double checks on it. So as long as we're really realistic, we've got some equity there, we can make a big savings in terms of potential income tax consequences that you may have to pay, but also give you two other real benefits. One, the strength of being able to make offers, proceed at your leisure. You don't have to have the pressure of, we need to go out and find a house this weekend, right? Once we get you qualified for this program, we can find your house. Maybe we find your house next week. Maybe it takes us 5 months, but we've got this program ready to go for you. And you're not under the, hey man, your house is sold. We need to find a house this weekend.
So I remember when I sold and bought, I had the same day closing.
Yeah,
And
lots of pressure.
I can't even describe. That was more stressful than the child's birth. It was like, we got to get in there. We got to get it out. We got to have the timing of the moving truck. And then we got to get it on the truck and move it.
Yeah.
We don't have to do any of that.
So no, and we, some people, I mean, this product isn't right for everyone, right? But for the guy that it is right for, it helps you from having to do that. The other thing is, I found that once you're in that position, if you lived in a house for a long time, or even just a number of years and you've got some kids and stuff, you have a lot of stuff
Everywhere.
and it feels a lot better to be able to move, to close on the new house. Okay. Transition from this one to this one, take our time with it and say, okay, we can really think about things as opposed to hurry up and get it done in one day.
Yeah, because in my experience, like when you're under pressure like that and there's stress, you make bad decisions anyways.
Absolutely.
And plus, I would pay, I don't even know how many thousands of dollars to not have to move in the same day or even like have a week crunch. I can just kind of get a pod, get a truck,
Right.
move it at my, that's amazing.
You can't really put a dollar sign. What's Hootie or Darius say? You can't put a dollar sign on a piece of mind.
Yeah.
Well, so yeah, no, and actually, so the dollar sign, important to talk about it too, right? I think one of the things that has plagued our industry, the realtor side, but certainly I think on the lender side, is that guys don't commonly transparently talk about what the cost is.
Yeah,
all right.
That's true.
So with this program,
Let's took the cost right off. Put it back up.
well, that's
Speaking of
okay.
that,
That's
slide
okay.
it.
No, that's all right. But with this program, right, it's going to vary depending on how much you're taking out or whatever. But we found that it's overall far cheaper than these other options. Tony's team did a real good job because this was like a real world scenario that we just went through. We just closed on this like a week or two ago. All right. He was very transparent with my client about here's what it's going to cost you. And sometimes when these people, like when we hit you with what the actual cost is to sell your house, it's like, whoa, right? But when we break it down as to what it actually is in the grand scheme of things, it can make you feel very comfortable because it's much less than what you could pay with other alternatives.
I've never heard of this product, and just looking at it saying, all right, if I got to go tap my qualified money and it's going to cost me 50 grand, or I can pay $7,500 and get all of these benefits, I just don't even understand why someone wouldn't.
Your total savings in that equation where you're not tapping into qualified money, maybe you're securing a little bit of a discount on the home you're buying. You're also maybe able to maximize the sales price of your departure residence because now it's cleaned out. This company will allow you to they'll give you a couple bucks to clean it up,
do
whatever.
Like the first offer that comes by.
Yeah. So you're $100,000 ahead.
Yeah. So in this scenario, we save about $100,000.
That's real money.
It's huge. And some of the other things that he just went into is we're now at the stage where we can use this program to qualify you to get some things done to your house that you may need. All right. I don't know if we want to tap on roofs, but roofs have become a big one with the insurance industry. We have to be able to get your house insured for your mortgage, right? So if you have something that may disqualify you, like a really goofed up roof, that you may be fine even taking the discount on your house to sell it for that. All right. You're going to be bucks ahead if you just take a little bit more money on the front end, get your house ready. All right. Use that money to do those things. All right. And then when we are hitting the market after you've gotten into your new house, we're going to be in a much better sales position. All right. So it's amazing. And I did want to, if I could, this is great for this scenario you described. I'm middle-aged guy, got some kids, I have equity. Maybe I don't have that much in retirement, or I know that I take a hit in taxes if I tap into that. Great for that guy. Another guy that it's really good for is maybe a little bit older, and we've gotten to the point where our income is not as much.
Sure.
But we have assets, but we have a steady income, but it's just not like a big income. But it doesn't matter because we have assets. Most of our stuff's paid for.
We don't want to realize additional income because our mortgage expense or our current budget is this, right? So we don't want to keep running up 22% taxes. Is that what you're saying, Tony?
Exactly. So we don't want to get into that situation. Then the other thing is a lot of times, like, we also don't want to bust that guy's debt to income ratio, right? So this is where, like, for this guy and kind of like the first guy too, a bridge loan may not work because we're still going to have to include your housing debt that you're in right now and the new one. So some of those people that are like, hey, I only draw, I'm setting myself, I'm making $60,000 a year in set income. What is it? There's a fixed income. I love that because I'm always like, I'm trying to fix my own income.
I'm trying to fix it for you.
You already fixed yours. How do you do that? Anyways. So for those guys who are like on a fixed income, like, yeah, you qualify for a mortgage, you qualify for a real small one compared to what you want to do. So this is going to give you a lot more flexibility in terms of what you can do. So for our higher net worth individuals who are real tax consequence minded,
most of them are, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. And you don't get there unless you are. Right. So this is a really, really great product. I mean, I haven't been excited about most products that we see in the mortgage business over my last 23 years have been some variation of something that's existed before. It's a modification on what you can do with LTV. It's a modification on credit scores that require, right? Got some kind of grant program toward it. This is really just a completely new product we haven't seen before.
I haven't seen this movie.
And I think something like this can really get the economy and our transactions going if agents are talking to people about this.
Because how many people are stuck in those two scenarios you just laid out that are like, yeah, I would if.
Exactly.
I would if, like, this is the big if.
That's the thing. Like, you have to get to the if. So, okay, if we're at the if, this is how we're going to do it. That tax savvy, tax conscious older person, what do they probably want to do? They either want to get into Tony's favorite thing, a sprawling ranch, or they want to live next to kids. I mean, like, look, your dad lives a couple hours away, right? Like, if things were different, could he move closer to be next to the grandkids. Like, my parents fortunately live close, so I don't have that necessity. But like, if my brother was going to stay out in North Carolina, that's something they would probably look at, is like, how do we get closer to kids, grandkids, and also not smoke our nest egg.
Smoke it.
Yeah, so it's been unbelievable. It involves it's going to involve some agent education. All right, you have to because your agent's going to have to be involved on it and work with the lender to help accomplish this. But I see a lot of times, if I could just like address maybe the agents or the real estate professionals in the room or whoever sees this, selling the house, it's the selling the house part should be easy, right? We know how to sell the house. And I see a lot of you concentrate too much on like the sell the house thing. Like, this guy's problem is not sell the house. Like, if you're good, you should be able to sell the house.
Yeah.
It's how does he get from here to there financially? Okay. And in this scenario, this is going to be something you're going to have to bring up, or making sure that you're using Tony Perri. You're the only guy that I know that has this product. All right.
And pricing that. I mean, what I also heard was there is a timeline. So if you have the realtor that's going to list your house and they don't price it right, you are risking some stuff there. And I don't know what the question or the answer is, but like, real talk, like right now in this market right here in Indiana, a house price correct sits for
a day.
Oh my God.
It should be a weekend. I mean, I just had last weekend 2 listings, one in Cherville, one in Cedar Lake. In Cherville, we had 17 showings scheduled the first day. We received 8 offers and sold for $16,000 over list price. Cedar Lake, 2 offers in 48 hours. So that stuff should move quickly. However, what we're still seeing, like just with our industry, what's plaguing our industry is agents are not thinking about the next step. I've been on this situation in the buyer side, representing a buyer. We want to buy this sellers, and then we find that they're like trying to hold us up because they don't know what they're going to do. All right. They had no planning on the front end. And this happens a lot. It's criminal. I think you should lose your license for it. But this agent has basically let that guy think that somehow we're just going to transfer the equity here. Right. And I've had buyers. It's like, no, we saw this during the boom during COVID. We'd see remarks that were like, contingent on seller finding the right house.
They call it suitable housing or something.
They would, at first they'd just be like, the right house. And they'd be like, what? So my guy's supposed to just wait for forever?
Good luck on your search.
So I'll tell you this. I never, ever once in that whole period wrapped one of my buyers into that scheme. I will not advise you to proceed with that because we know we're dealing with a dizzy realtor.
Yeah.
All right. These are unrealistic people.
That realtor is probably not around anymore.
I don't know. They probably are. They're probably listing $500,000 stuff for $750,000, and the $750,000 sellers wondering why it's not selling. I see it all the time. All right. Our biggest issue, there's this saying like, so my dad's got a saying in racing. All right. And I think it relates well. So like, if you're going to race cars, first you need to learn how to drive the car. Then you need to learn how to make the car go fast. Yeah. Then you need to learn how to race. Then you need to learn how to win. I view everything up to winning is selling the house, right? Selling the house is learning how to race. Like, you should be able to get to the point in your career as a realtor where you know how to get the house sold, right? But the learning to win step, so that next step is, what is the real hurdle? The real hurdle is, how do we get to the next place? Not sell my house. Right. They want to get to the next place. This is unbelievable. Best product I've seen in 23 years for getting there for the right person. We have to have equity, right?
Yep.
We have to have decent credit scores.
On the new purchase, we're going to qualify you for conventional loan, but the actual bridge part of it, there's you have a 620.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. And so, well, you just raised another issue that I just thought of, that this helps clear another hurdle, is if you're in that mid 600s credit range, all right, this creates an opportunity for you to buy where you didn't have one. If you're in that mid 600s, you're going to like suffer on rate and LTV, probably, if you're trying to go conventional.
Does the cash come to you? So can you reallocate debt with the cash too?
So they will allow you. So they basically say, think about it as a line of credit.
Yeah.
here's what you can do. Do you need to deploy 50 grand towards the down payment on the new house? And we need to also knock out 50 grand worth of debt so that you can qualify for a new house.
They're
That's
holding.
amazing.
They're holding it. You can't just go and buy a new motorcycle with it. But there are a lot of. So they're like, okay, we give you this money. Here it is. You need it. You come to us. What do you need it for? You need it for down payment. Okay, boom. You need it for roof. Boom. Here you go. You need it for motorcycle. No.
They do drop the line.
Sorry, Tony.
But you bought the motorcycle 4 months ago, and you say, and you're
And your
talking to me
rate
like, hey, we're not
is
going
like
to
20%.
you're not going to qualify for this next step without that being gone. Bam, knock it out.
Debt consolidation, housing improvements. It's really awesome. What I fear with this is that like nobody's going to hear about this. So I don't know if we need to do some real marketing or whatnot, because this could really improve transaction count this year, get people to come off the dime and do things. Overall interest rate environment, everybody agrees, likely going to stay about the same. Expenses are high. So for economy improved to the point where people's incomes are rising quite a bit, probably going to take a little bit. These things aren't overnight, right? But you're not keeping Junior 3 years old for forever. Your house is going to continue to grow. Products like these can get you to the next step.
True.
Or if you're that like not elderly person, but you're a little bit older, you've got a lot of assets and things, but you recognize that it's not wise for you to tap into them. You'd really like to move, but you stayed where you're at because you don't want to do that tapping. This is a product that gets you there.
Tap it in.
That's it's a great way to sum it up. Our next time that you're on, we'll continue the first time home seller situation, right? Two of the things we brought up, right? The idea, Adam, I think you said about these houses that might be sitting or what ones that are moving fast, appropriately pricing your home and expecting, what did you say earlier? Something about probability and possibility. And Tony, you do a fantastic job of explaining that to home sellers in the process. Why is that important? Why is pricing it important? And then from our side, on the mortgage side, and then even from the insurance side, when we know the input, right, we know what that net could be or what that value is going to be. We can then build your formula just like we did on a bridge loan. Next week, we'll talk about building the formula on how to eliminate a bunch of debt and take you from a 1,800 square foot, or not next week, next time Tony's on, 1,800 square foot house in Chicago to 3,800 square foot house in Bourbonnais. And all of a sudden, your debt load's actually $600 a month less.
Boom.
Would you take that deal?
Sign me up.
All right.
Awesome.
Anything
Hit us
else?
up. No, if you want information on any of this, right, hit up myself, Adam, or Tony. All right, we're all readily findable. So message us anytime. This is what we do.
All right.
I'm done. Cut the show.